In today's video, I want to tell you why learning that skill will save your life. And as somebody who manages multiple teams under multiple businesses, one of the hardest things for our teams to do, and honestly for most people to do, is to learn a skill, right? Like we all have goals, we all want to help people, we all want to do all this stuff. And it seems like everybody's in the same boat. Everybody wants to help people, everybody wants to feel like they have a purpose and that it matters and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to learning little skills like marketing or leadership or how to be a better personal trainer or how to sell or how to do finances or whatever, right? Like people tend not to do that. They tend not to invest in themselves and actually build skills. And I'm telling you this with nothing to sell you. I don't care. I'm not some guru or coach. I'm simply a business owner. And this is what I do when I determine why some of my team who, to be honest with you, should be running their own gyms and being ultra successful right now, the biggest thing that I think hinders them. And if they watch this, I hope they understand um, that I do this because this is going to relate to exactly why you're hired and exactly why you work at our gyms and exactly what I want for you. And so understand that while some of this video may be harsh, while some of this video may be um, kind of on the nose and blunt, which is my typical style, right? And anyone who works for me knows that. But I want you to understand the importance of it. So recently I invested multiple five figures into a 6-month mentorship, right? I took my entire personal development budget for the year and I put it into this mentorship, right? And when I sat down to deem if it was more valuable than me going to like an event or going to something like that, it was very a simple equation is how many more lives will I change if I do this versus if I do this? And what you need to understand is there's a pleasure and a pain dichotomy to the skill set reaching your goal. So if your goal is to help more people, if your goal is to be a better personal trainer, if your goal is to be better at business, if your goal is to be better at whatever it is that you're trying to get better at, what skills do you need to get better at to do that thing? And so for me and my companies, given the economy, and I'm in the fitness business, and most of my businesses are down around 15% over the last 2 years. Um, I was like, I need to be able to cut costs and do things, and you have to market to gain new business. It's an essential piece of business. Like people who cut back on marketing dollars because their business is struggling will go out of business. You need to go get another job so you can pay for marketing dollars to continue to bring people in your business. But that's another video for another time. The skill that I'm trying to learn has a pleasure and a pain aspect to it, both for my team, for myself, and for our clients. And I want to explain that because when you set up a reason why that works on every level, making decisions is simple. So if you don't know your business yet, maybe it's just you, and maybe it's the people that you work with, maybe it's the people that you work for, maybe it's the people that you service in your job. And will this skill check all those boxes? And this is going down both sides of the rabbit hole, right? So if I had a whiteboard, it would be here is the decision, and here's where it goes if I don't learn this, and here's where it goes if I do learn this, right? And it's about which goes up and which goes down. So we're going to start with the pleasure side, and then we'll go into the pain side, because I think the pain side, at least for me, I resonate more with the pain side. It tends to motivate me to take action better than the pleasure side. But we're going to start with the pleasure side. So the pleasure side of building these skills is obviously if I learn this marketing, right? And I learn how to do my own ads, and I learn how to do TikTok marketing and Facebook marketing and Google marketing. And I do all this, and I have all these weekly calls, and they go through my stuff twice a week, and we go through ad copy, we go through these things. Like it's crazy in depth what I get. So valuable already. But what's the point? Why would I want to log in every day? Why would I want to do these things? Why would I want to spend 6 months learning one skill? And I started with myself. Well, obviously, me knowing this skill has a huge ROI, because if I can cut out the cost of an agency and do it myself and get better results, well, then not only did I save the money that the agency would charge me, but I also make all that money for me, right? Like, or it gives me the ability to put into my business, and then I can do new products. I can add more compensation to my team. I can do whatever, blah, 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 right? But for me, personally, I was like, well, if I do this, I can cut costs, which makes our business run properly, which allows me to grow and put more in the marketing budget, which allows me to learn faster. And this skill will be something that if I learn, I can implement in literally any business that I ever am part of for the rest of my life. And that's valuable right? If you say, oh, well, I'm good at marketing, prove it. I'm good at advertising, prove it. Most of you aren't. Most of you can't pull up your ads manager and say, this is when I took over, this is my Shopify store, this is when I started, this is what I did, this is why it worked, this is the iterations that we did, this is the things that I tested that worked, these are things I tested that I didn't. Well, like, you have no idea. You just think you are because people show up at your business, which means you might be good at product, like your product might rock. You might be in a trending upward industry. You might, like, there's a million things that could be possible that don't make you good at marketing or advertising. Now, if you have this data, you can go to any business in the world and say, you should hire me. These are what I did for this business, which is similar to you in this and this and this. I went through all your stuff. This is what I see where I could be a really big addition to your team, right? So I look at it that way, as no matter what business I'm in, no matter what business I'm investing in, no matter what business I decide to open or operate, this is a skill that goes across all of those avenues. And so for me, that was the pleasure. For my clients, or for my team, I'll do my team next, then my clients, right? So I typically go me, client, team, and if everybody, or me, team, clients, and if everybody wins, it's a good decision. So with my team, well, if I can bring in more clients and we make more money, I can give them more money because every single one of my team and me and everyone else I know in the freaking world wants to make more money and needs more money and is struggling to pay their bills, and with inflation and everything else how it is, because right now it's 2024, it's the beginning of 2024. If you April 15th, tax day, right? So if you don't know, we have had the highest inflation rate we've had over the last couple of years than like a long time, right? Since I've been alive, for sure. I think even since our parents have been alive. So anyway, regardless, it's not a good situation and everybody wants more money. So if I get better at this skill and I can bring more people in the door, and more people in the door bring me more money, I can help my team release that financial burden from themselves, right? And so that was a bonus in the pleasure side. And then for my clients, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is our company, nationwide has helped people lose over 500,000 pounds in the last 7 years. But ultimately, um, that's great, and those people are great, but the biggest number that I always look at is 14. And so far we've had 14 people send the suicide email. And the suicide email is basically 14 people have said, without your gym, I would have killed myself. And for me, I'm always looking for 15. And I'm going to get into this on the pain side, but this is a dichotomy issue, right? So how many more people are going to be able to play with their kids? How many more people are going to live longer? How many people are going to have a better quality of life? How many people are going to be good examples where they go? What is the ripple effect of getting more people into my gym who see amazing results, right? And those are all positive outcomes. But the 14, right, is where's number 15? Man, if I learn this, maybe it could go from 14 to 30. But the other side of that coin is this. The other side of that coin is, what if I don't learn this? Or how many people, because I don't know this skill, what should my number actually be? Should it be 30? Have I let 16 people die because they didn't know that we existed? And to me, that drives me way harder. Because what's the ripple effect of them not being here? What did that do to their families, to their loved ones, to the people who cared about them, to the places they worked, to the impact and the gifts that God gave them? Like, what was the downside of them not receiving our product? And to me, that's just not, if not more powerful. So for me, I always focus on the pain side. So to me, it's more powerful. To you, it might be more pleasure, and it's irrelevant, right? But that's the client side. So we have the myself, my team, and my clients. All three of those, I can see the pleasure side. The pain side is very obvious. If I don't do this and I can't pay my bills, I have to lay people off, which goes directly to my team, which goes directly to my clients. Because again, every trainer resonates with different people. Well, what if I have to let go of the trainer that's the person, that's that person's trainer, and that person loved that trainer, and that was the reason they went to the gym, and now they don't go to the gym and they stop working out and their life goes to shit and they lose their health and they die. And I've had a 500-pound client who I left in Michigan to move down to Florida, and 6 months later, he had stopped doing the workouts, he had stopped losing all the weight, and he had lost over 60 pounds before I left, and then he obviously died of obesity. And I think about that guy all the time. I think about Ren all the time. Um, it's the only thing that I hate about moving, but I realized how much more good came out of me moving from Michigan to Florida and opening my own thing and doing what we've done and building what we built, right, than the downside, right? So 14 outweighs one. That being said, you can't quantify one person's life over the other. But for me, that's the struggle side, right? And so I think, well, what if what if that's that person that they're number 15, they just haven't told us yet, and I have to let go of their person. I have to fire their person. I have to demote their person. I have to not hire their person because I can't pay labor bills, right? What if I lose my business and my house and my family has to live on the street, right? Like, if I don't learn this skill. So I go both ways when I decide if learning that thing will both benefit, what are the benefits, and what is the cost of me not learning it? And then is it a valuable use of my time, right? Like, do I have the time to commit to doing this? And how much time commitment is it actually? And it's really only about 5 to 10 hours a week of commitment that I've had to put into this. And so I said, can I take 5 to 10 hours a week for the next 6 months to learn this skill? And it will put me in the top 0.5% of everyone on the planet at this, probably in the 0.01% of everybody on the planet in this particular skill, which to me is extremely valuable. So when you're deciding on skills and when you don't want to do it, when you don't want to read that book, when you don't want to take that course, when you don't want to learn that new skill, when you don't want to get better at your craft, do a benefit analysis of that skill. What is the pleasure that's going to come from you learning that skill? What is the benefit to you? What is the benefit to the people you work with? What is the benefit to the people you service to learn that skill? Because most people have a job, and if you don't, go fucking get one. Because you're a waste of space. I'm sorry, but if you're not contributing to society, you're a waste, right? You're a waste to society. So get a purpose, and it doesn't have to be your end goal, right? That's the other thing. It doesn't have to be your end goal, but that's another video as well. Go through the pain, go through the pleasure, and then attach those things to committing to the time it takes. Now, if you go to the commitment and it's 40 hours a week and you already work 40 hours a week and you have a family at home, maybe you can't do it. Maybe it's not a good use of your time. But find out what daily amount it's going to take for you to invest in that skill. For me, it's about an hour to an hour and a half a day, 5 days a week, to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and for 6 months. So that's a lot, right? That's a big time commitment when you average that out of what that time could also be done doing and who's going to sacrifice that time. But at the end of the day, what most people struggle with is they don't correlate how important learning skills is, and then they don't do it, or they know it's important but they don't take action on it. And in our teams, that's one of our biggest struggles. They all know what being a better trainer would be. They all know what learning about nutrition more would do. They all know what learning sales would do. They all know how to provide value to a client to get them to say yes so that we can change their life because they know that we're the best at what we do. They know the value in that. But they don't want to learn skills to be better at it because they don't sit down and do what I just explained over the last 13 minutes. And so my challenge to you is this. First off, if you like the video, please give it a like, please comment, thank you, or comment something positive, subscribe to the channel. But my challenge to you is this. Pick a skill that you know over the next 3 to 6 months that you can learn. How much money can you invest in that skill? If you don't have the money, do you have to go get a second income or another job or drive Uber or drive DoorDash on the weekends or bartend to make a little bit of extra money to pay for that? And how much time would it really take for you to pay for that skill? And what is the delta of that skill long term? And what are the benefits to everyone around you if you learn it? And what does it cost if you don't? And take that information and then decide. Because I can tell you, the greatest gift that I've ever had was starting to read books. The second one was joining a coaching group that I joined a long time ago, and it's been nothing but a godsend to me. And since then, I've evolved my personal learning to this point. And I just want to tell you, it doesn't matter how much money you have or where you start, you can all afford a book. I don't care how much money, you can all afford YouTube. YouTube's free. Find the people that you know, like, and trust about the skill first, and then eventually you'll find somebody that you go, oh man, I would love to learn from them. And they're going to have a price because they have a skill set. pay the price, learn the skill set. It will change your life for the better. And if you add 2 or 3 skills a year that are that valuable, in 5 years, you will be exactly where you want to be for the people around you, for the people that you love, for the people in your circle, and for the people that you influence every single day. And that is how you'll save a life with a skill. Have a great day.